A famous British author, Arthur Conan Doyle, wrote, "There is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact." There are many such deceptive signs in the field of strabismus, pediatric, and neuroophthalmology, and I'm going to tell you the pseudo-tell of such 10 pseudo-signs and syndromes in next few minutes. Let's start with 3 signs in cases of aberrant regeneration of third cranial nerve. It may occur following trauma or compressive lesions like tumor or aneurysm. This happens due to misfiring after the break in the axonal cylinders and subsequent misdirection of sprouting axons. This is a patient with history of traumatic left third cranial nerve palsy 6 months back. Here you can notice a lead lag on down gaze on left side, which is called as pseudo-von Graffit sign. The second one is pseudo-Urgell-Robertson's pupil. In this, the fixed and dilated pupil constricts on adduction, as you can notice here. The third one is pseudo or inverse Duan sign. There is retraction of ipsilateral upper lid on attempted adduction, leading to widening of palpebral fissure, which is inverse of Duan's retraction seen in DRS. Coming to fourth sign, that is pseudolocalization sign of sixth cranial nerve palsy. This is a 32-year-old gentleman who presented with acute onset binocular horizontal diplopia. On examination, he had left sixth cranial nerve paresis. We did the fundus examination, which showed bilateral disc edema. We advised an MRI with contrast and MRV, which showed left transverse sinus thrombosis. So the sixth cranial nerve paresis was actually a pseudolocalization sign of an underlying intracranial pathology. The fifth pseudo in the list is pseudodisc edema. This patient on routine examination showed bilateral elevated discs with blurring of margins. Is this a true disc edema or pseudodisc edema? You must look for vascular signs to differentiate. There is no obscuration of vessels and spontaneous venous pulsations were present. To confirm the diagnosis, we do a B scan which shows calcification in a buried drusen, which is also evident on autofluorescence. The next in line is pseudo-Foster-Kennedy syndrome. You must know that Foster-Kennedy syndrome is characterized by ipsilateral optic atrophy with disc edema in contralateral eye due to frontal lobe tumor, usually olfactory groove meningioma. The presence of optic atrophy in one eye and optic disc edema in other eye, in absence of any compressive lesions, is called as pseudo-Foster-Kennedy syndrome. It's mostly seen in sequential non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy. Next, let's see the conditions in which we see pseudoproptosis. The three common ones are craniosynostosis due to shallow orbits, high myopia, and ophthalmos, that is congenital glaucoma. What are the causes of pseudotosis? It can be an anophthalmic socket with inadequate support to upper eyelid, or it can actually be a contralateral upper lid retraction, giving an appearance of ipsilateral ptosis. In cases of monocular elevation deficit, there can be a component of pseudotosis. How to differentiate it from true ptosis? The pseudotosis improves when the affected eye is the fixating eye. The two most common causes of pseudoesotropia are broad nasal bridge and presence of epicanthal folds. It can also be seen in cases with negative angle kappa. Similarly, pseudoexotropia is seen in cases with positive angle kappa, as in this case of 11-year-old girl with history of retinopathy of prematurity status post laser. Patients with relatively wider interpupillary distance can also give an appearance of pseudoexotropia. So friends, these were the 10 pseudosigns and syndromes.